Good evening, all. Dear participants, am I audible? Is my screen properly visible? Can you please confirm? Good evening. Okay, so today is day 8 of this virtual internship Python class, and we are seeing about all the concepts in Python. So regarding yesterday's class, what all topics we have covered till yesterday? Can you guys remember? Yesterday we have seen about exception handling and file handling, right? About how to store your file, how to create it, how to open it. Okay, so if you are going with some other file format such as CSV file format or Excel or Word, you can use that also, but with different kind of format you have to access it. And in today's class we are going to see one of the advanced concepts, so which is very important, which is nothing but the class and object. Okay, so we are going to see about the object oriented programming oops concept with class and object in Python in today's class. Okay, so before that I'll explain you about the exercise which we are doing yesterday's class. So due to some technical issues my screen was not visible, and due to time limit we have skipped that and went into the content, right? And today we'll start with seeing that exercise. So I'll explain you once in a bit and then we'll move into the day 8 class. Okay, regarding assignment, I hope many of you guys have submitted. It's very good, you guys have tried it and you want to update about the assignment. Okay, so regarding the assignment we will be circulating one Google form today, so you have to fill that. It will require your details, and along with that you will be posted your assignment either in Facebook or LinkedIn, right? So in your post you have to copy that link and paste it in our Google form. Okay, you have to submit that. I'll explain you how to get that link. So this will be a record, so you have to submit it, the assignment, and along with that you have to submit that specific link. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so if you have submitted in Facebook, you can see your, okay, you can upload your assignment today also. Please try to complete by today, that form will close today. So see here, so if you have submitted it in Facebook, you can see this your post, and below that you can see the send option. So once you click that, you can copy, this page will come, and there you can copy that link. Okay, so copy that link and paste it in the form which will be circulating today. And if you have submitted in LinkedIn, then you can find your post, and in that post you can find this 3 dots. So once you click that, you can get this option copy link to post. Okay, so you can copy the link and submit it and update in the form which will be circulating today. I'll explain you in between also how to do it once again. So we'll start with today's class. I'll start with the code which we are seeing yesterday. So I'll explain you once again. See here, we are setting some username and password. You can get it from the user and verify also. So I'm checking whether the username is this and the password is this, and we are using an AND operator. If both are correct, then I'm going to allow the user to go into this function which is known as working, and I'll be using this balance variable to work inside this. So I'll be passing that inside. Okay, so or else if he entered any wrong details, then I'm going to print, okay, wrong credentials. Once it is correct, okay, so once you got it correct, then you will be allowing into this, okay, working, and inside you can get this balance. So let's go into this function working. Okay, while true, okay, I'm creating a while loop. So I'll print this statement. Okay, select balance, inquiry, withdrawal amount, cash deposit, and cancel. This will be displayed every time, and it will ask the user to enter this option. Okay, choice equal to, so you have to select the choice. So if choice is equal to 1, so I am going to print the balance as such, which will be passing inside. If choice is equal to 2, since I need to update this balance, I'm getting it balance is equal to, I'm passing this function withdrawal. There also I'm passing the balance which we have got here. Okay, similarly, if choice equal to 3, I'm going to pass this deposit option, and if choice is 4, I'm going to break it. Okay, so let me go into the function withdrawal and deposit, and there I am passing this balance. So I am asking the user to enter his amount. If the amount he is asking is greater than his balance, then I am going to print insufficient balance, because whatever the amount he has, if it is less only, he can like withdraw it, right? So else condition, it will be like if it is less, I am going to subtract it from the balance, and I am going to allow him to tell this message that this much amount is debited, and finally I am returning the balance. So once this will run, it will return the balance, and that balance is stored in this balance equal to this one. Okay, so this will help you to update. And similarly, using deposit, I want to check whether the amount is greater than 0. So I don't want to get any negative values. So if it is greater than 0, I'm going to add it with the balance. Okay, so next I'll be printing the amount. So finally I'll be returning the balance, and that balance will be stored here. So when you are asking it, it is going to tell you what is the balance amount you are having. So to run this, I'll run all these functions, and if I run this, it is going to go into this working, and it is asking me what to select. Let me go into the balance inquiry first. So it is printing my balance is 1000. So if I go into withdrawal amount, so if I enter some amount like 400, it is telling 400 is debited successfully, because I have 1000 and I am asking for 400, so I have enough balance. So if I go into balance inquiry, see here it is telling my balance is 600. So yesterday it got some error, now it is updating fine, because we made like balance is equal to this one, so every time it will get updated. So now it is 600. So if I go into withdrawal amount again, so I'm going to enter some value which I don't have. So my balance is 600, but I'm entering I need 3000. See here it is telling insufficient balance, and since the while loop is running, it is going to tell me the options and ask the user to select the option. I'll go into cash deposit. Okay, I'll enter some amount here, 3000. So if I enter that, 3000 credited successfully. So if I check the balance, it should get updated. See here, now my balance is 3600. Now I can take amount. Okay, if I can take 3000 now, yes I can, because I have 3600. So 3000 is debited successfully. I can check the balance. So now it is back to 600, right? So if you want to end this, you can go with 4, which will terminate the while loop. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear regarding this? Okay, so this will be the output option. Sorry, it was a little bit small. So please try to make this on your own. Okay, yesterday I have explained clearly, but since in between we got some technical issues, I have explained you once again. So now we can start with today's session, right? Okay, so we'll go into the class and object concept in Python. So class and object, there are two things. Okay, so these are interconnected. I'll tell you one by one. Python is an object-oriented programming language. So they are saying now, this is a new sentence for us. Python is an object-oriented programming language. Once I teach you about class and object, I'll tell you what this line is and why they are telling this. Okay, and they are telling almost everything in Python is object. With its properties and methods, we are using that. That's what they are telling. So what is this class? Okay, we'll see about what is this class and object. So class is like a blueprint. See here, I am having a class. Okay, this is like a blueprint. So class is like a blueprint. So to use a class, you need to create an object. So imagine this is an object, this is an object, okay, and this is an object. So there are three different objects. You can have one blueprint, but you can create many things with different properties. So that's what the general representation of class and object is. Class is like an object constructor. It is a blueprint, and with the help of class, okay, you can create objects. Okay, with one class you can create many objects. That's what the meaning of this is. So why we need to create that, what is the use of it, I'll tell you. First, let us create a class. Okay, please listen to this. I'll take you one by one so that in the end you can understand it properly. It will be a little bit confusing. Please make sure you are listening it properly. So I'm creating a class. Okay, you have to create a class with the help of this class. Near to that you have to give a name for it. I'm giving number, and using colon in the next line I'm giving x equal to 5. So I'm storing x equal to 5, okay, inside this class. So can we do it? We'll create a class now in Colab. Okay, let me bring it down. So to create a class, you have to call class number, okay, and you don't want to create any parenthesis here. It is not like function. You can leave it empty here, and in next line this will be the body of the class. I'm going to store x equal to 5. I'll run this. Now we have successfully created a class, but how to use a class? This is what the next thing comes in, okay. So if you want to create, like, you can create a class with the help of this class option, but if you want to use a class, okay, you are storing x equal to 5, okay. If you want to store, like, if you want to access this value, you have to create an object. So this is where the object comes into play. We are creating a class, but if you want to use a class, then you have to create an object, okay. Clear? So I'll tell you object. So how to create an object now? That's what the question is. To create an object, you can create a variable, and to that, if you call the name of the class and create a parenthesis, this will be considered as an object for this class. We are creating a class in the name of number, okay, and I'm creating an object, okay, with the help of any name. You can give any variable name. So I'm storing number, this class, okay, the name of it with parenthesis. So now we have successfully created an object. So with the help of object we can access a class, right? So if I want to take this x which is inside this class, I can call this object dot x. So this is going to return this value. I'll show you. So we have created a class, okay, in the name number x equal to 5. So if I want to create an object for this, let me create in the name object obj is equal to, I want to call the name of the class here, number with parenthesis. Okay, if I run this, it is going to create me the object, and if I want to use the class, I can call the object. I'll print object dot, see here it is telling me I can access this x which is inside this class. If I run this, it is going to give me that value which is inside this class, okay. So what is the function of class in Python? Okay, so the function, which means that there are many applications for this class. So using functions we are trying to automate, right, which means like we can write a similar block of code and use it for many cases. This will be a little bit advanced and easy, okay. So right now we have seen about how to create a class and how to create an object, how to access something inside a class, okay. Now we'll deep dive into some other things. So inside a class you can store many things. You can store a variable, okay, you can store a variable where you can store some values, and then you can also create a function inside a class, okay. So I hope the link for the update of assignment is shared in chat box, okay. You can do it later or now, okay. Try to find the link of your post and update it there, okay. So now listen to the class. You can actually have a function inside a class, okay. The function which is inside the class, which is known as, okay, listen, we can have a function inside a class and it is called as method, okay. Functions inside a class can be called as methods, okay. So I'll tell you, I'm creating a class in the name of course, okay. Inside of it I'm creating a function using the def keyword, def, I'm giving a name for it, session, okay. And inside I'm passing an argument which is known as self. So what is this self is, I'll explain you in a bit, okay. This self is very important, okay. So just leave about the link, so I make sure my team will correct about it. So now let's listen to the class. So leave it and see here, inside a class I'm creating a function which is also called as method, and inside of this function I'm passing an argument self, okay. This self I'll explain you in a little bit, and inside of this function I'm printing, this is class and object session, okay. I'm just printing an output, and I'm creating an object for this class, object equal to course, and using this object I'm calling this session which is inside this function, okay. Now I'll go into this and explain you practically. Once I'll tell you about the self. I'm creating a class in the name of course, okay, and inside of this class I am creating a function define session, and inside I am passing a self here, okay, and inside this function I am printing this is class and object session, okay. So I am passing this self here. I'll tell you what it is. So we have created a function class here. Inside of the class we are having a function. To access this class we need to create an object, right? So object is equal to course parenthesis, okay, and once I run this we have created a class and object. Now if I want to access this class I can print object dot, I can print this session, right, which is inside session, okay. Since it is a function you have to pass parenthesis. See here it is telling this is class and object, okay. Since we are printing it again, so it is telling none, I can just return it. Okay, it is telling this is class and object session. So if I remove this self and leave it empty, see here, if I run this, I'll try to access something which is inside this class. It is telling me error, okay. Session takes 0 positional argument but 1 was given. Why we are getting this error? You have to pass self here. If you pass self here, it will run smoothly. We won't be getting any error. So what is this self is? Okay, self is nothing but the object, okay. You are creating some object, right? So in that there are 3 terms, okay. One is object, another one is self, another one is instance. These 3 terms are interlinked and mean the same, and you have to remember it properly, okay. There is something known as self, object, okay, and instance. So instance is something like, as I told you earlier, when you have a class, okay, you can create many number of objects, right? We have seen in this slide, right? See here, this is a class and we are creating 3 objects. So you can create any number of object, okay, you can create any number of object, and if you create one object with that class, then it is going to called as that instance, okay. It is one instance when you create an object and use that class. You can create another object, it will be called as second instance, okay. There are many instances you can create. See here, I am using object obj, right? So I can create another object obj2 is equal to, I have to give the name same, okay, it is same. I can run this, okay. So I will print obj2 dot session. So with this also I can access something inside, okay. This is class and object session, so same output will come, okay. So what does this mean? Okay, this will be one instance and this will be another instance. So when you pass this self here, this object will be passed as a argument here, okay. Instead, in the place of self, self is nothing but object will be passed there. That's what the meaning of self is. So next, there is something which is known as constructors in Python, okay. What is constructor? So constructor is used for instantiating an object. Imagine we are creating a class, right, and inside of it, for example, if you are creating many functions, okay, you are creating many functions, and if you want to pass an argument in the function, we will be getting some names, right, in function. In the case of parameter, we will be asking for name or age or any other detail, right. So how can you do that inside of a class? So if you are creating many functions inside a class, then you want to pass the parameters or arguments inside. So it will be little bit tedious. So in that case, this double underscore init comes to play. So this is a special method in Python, okay. So this will be, what it will do is, the task of this constructor is to assign values to the data members of the class, and it is called the constructor double underscore init. So using double underscore init double underscore, you can pass this self inside, okay. I'll explain you the example here. Listen, see here, this is a class which is known as person, okay, and inside of it I am creating many functions. The first thing what you can better do is, you can create using def, you can call this double underscore init double underscore. This is a special character in Python, okay, and here I am passing the self and name and age, okay. So what is this name and age is, I am going to use this name and age inside my functions, okay. Inside this class I am going to use this name and age from the user. So I am passing the self also here, and with the help of self, what is self? Self is that instance, right? So it is that instance which will be the object only. So using self, I am storing self.name equal to name. The name I am getting, I am storing it in self, and the age I am getting, I am storing it in self. So both this name and age is now stored in self with the help of double underscore init. So whenever you run this class with the help of object, this double underscore init will instantiate and run first, and all these variables will be stored in this object self. And if you want to use these details in some other function, you don't want to pass this name and age again, you can directly pass this self. Okay, you can directly pass this self inside. So when you pass that self, using that self you can access this name and age directly everywhere. See here, inside this function I am asking the name with the help of self.name. I just want to pass the self and I can access this name and age. Clear? So this double underscore init and self, this object will be stored the detail, and it can help us to run this. And now we have created a class, right? So where will you pass this arguments? So you are asking for parameter for this function. Where will you pass the argument? So to pass an argument inside a class, you can go with, when you create an object, right? So I am creating person1, person2, person3. These are three object names using this person class. I am giving that name person, and inside the bracket I am passing two things. You don't want to pass the self. Self is the object. You have to pass this name and age. So I am passing the name Manish and age 20. So I am creating for person 2 the same thing, Tom and 23. And for person 3 I am passing Sam and 25. So with these things, okay, I can access, okay, these details will be passed here, right? So I can access this 1 or 2 or 3 and get that same output for each different person. So this is like this one. See here, I am creating a class and I am creating three different objects, right? Okay, three different objects. So this will be red Ford Mustang car, this will be blue Toyota Primus car, and this will be green Volkswagen and Golf car. So with this different things you can pass with the help of double underscore init and self. Okay, clear? So we'll try to do this example inside my Google Colab. Okay, so this will help us to understand a little bit more about this one. Okay, so if you have done that calculator code, you can post it in the chat itself. Very good, you have tried. Okay, so let us do this example here. Wait a minute. So I'm going to create a class in the name person, class person. Okay, and inside of it, since I want to pass the information, I can instantiate with the help of a function double underscore init. Let me create define double underscore init double underscore. Okay, so inside I'm passing the self first, which will be that instance, which is nothing but that object. I'll pass the name and age. Okay, so these name and age I'll get from the user. So with the help of self, I'm storing this self.name equal to name. Okay, and self.age is equal to age. So both of these things will be stored in the self. Now if I want to create, okay, I'm creating other functions. So define one, so this will be a function. I'm passing the self alone. So with the help of self, I can access something inside. Okay, this function print using formatted statement. I'll print, like this is a like different version of introducing himself. That's what we are doing it here. Okay, self dot name, and my age is self dot age. Okay, this will be the first function, and I'll call this second one 2. I'll pass the self inside. I'll print, okay, I am self dot name, and I am self dot age years old. Yes, correct. Self is the instance of that object passed. So as I told you with the help of that car example, right, we have created three different one. Remember? Okay, in that instance, when you create an object, one instance will be created. So self will be passed there. Okay, very good. So next will be, I'll create a third one, 3 self. Okay, and I'll print using formatted statement another statement, hi, I am self dot name, and I am self dot age years old. Okay, So I'll run this class. Now we have created a class, and this init with the help of self will help us to store these values inside the self, which is the nothing but the object which we'll be creating, and this object will be passed as argument everywhere, and with that, okay, you can get these details inside. So now I'm going to create, okay, let me create an object for this person1. Okay, this is the first object. I'm going to call this class person, and inside I need to pass two things. One will be the name and age. I'll pass Sam 24. Okay, and the next object person2 equal to same class but different arguments. Okay, Tom 20. So let me create for person3 equal to person Manish, and I'll pass some age. So we have created three different objects. Okay, these will be in that instance, these values will be passed here. So that's what the use of this. So if I want to print for person1, let me call the person1 as the object dot. Okay, I'll call this dot, and see here I can get these things. I'll pass this 1. Okay, I need this 1. I have to just print it. So since we are printing it there, no need to, or you can return it there and print here. See here we got this output for person1, Sam, and 24 is passed here. Okay. Okay, you can call for person 2.3. So for person 2, his name will be Tom and age will be 20. So we got this 3 output. Okay, this is how we can, like, this function will help you to, like, use a block of reusable code. Okay, so if you go some more advanced, when you go in the production environment, all those things you will be doing in class and object, which will be helpful for you to segregate and use it properly. Okay, this is very important and little bit advanced concept. So you can get this output, and let us move little bit inside about this class and functions. Okay, I have an image, I think so. No, okay, so next will be types of variables inside a function. Okay, sorry, inside a class, what are the types of variables? So regarding assignment, you can get it in the previous class. It is available in YouTube. You can watch the day 5 or day 6. I have explained about the assignment. What is the assignment? You can see it in the end of the session. You can find it. And what are the types of variables available inside a class? So there are two types of variables available. One will be an instance variable, and another one will be a class variable. And please tell me, guys, what is the word instance? Do you guys remember what is an instance? Okay, what is the mean by instance? Instance is nothing but that object, right? So we are trying to, like, tell, right, instance is the object. So object variables, the variable which dependent on the object. So what is object? It is self. Okay, so instance variable is nothing but the variables which depend on the self. Okay, it is called as instance variable. And if it doesn't belong to self, okay, if it is dependent directly to the class, then it is going to called as class variables. Very good, guys. Yes, it is object. And see here, let me tell about instance variable. See here, I am creating a class in the name car. Okay, and I am creating double underscore init self. So I am just passing the self, and I am not using it anywhere. Okay, I am not getting the user input. I am just storing directly self.mileage equal to 20 and self.company equal to BMW. So these two things I am storing. Okay, so this mileage and company is belong to this self, right? So I am calling with the help of self only. Okay, clear? So I can create object. So I am creating object 1 and 2, and I am passing this name of this class car. Okay, and I'm printing 1.mileage and 1.company and 2.mileage and 2.company. So these things with the help of self it is running, right? So it is known as instance variable. Clear? So you can actually set or change the value. If I call this 2, okay, 2 is an object, right? See here, 2 is an object for this instance, and I am setting dot mileage equal to 30. So now there will be a question for you guys. I am setting this mileage equal to 30 for this second object 2. Will it be changed in 1? Can you guys tell whether 1 is affected or only 2 is affected? Since it is an instance variable, can you guys try to tell? In the meantime, I'll go into Google Colab and try to repeat this there, so we can see it in practical example. So the question for you guys is, I'm changing the mileage for the second object only in that instance, whether this object will be affected or not. So we'll try to create a class car, and inside define double underscore init double underscore, I'll pass the self, okay, self dot mileage is equal to 20 and self dot company is equal to BMW. Okay, these two things I have created. So I'll come out, okay, this is a class. I'll create an object, one equal to car, 2 is equal to car. These are two different objects. I'll run this. Now I'll print, okay, I'm printing 1 dot mileage comma 1 dot company. Below that I'll print 2 dot mileage comma 2 dot company. See here, the first one it is 20 and BMW, and second one it is 20 and BMW, right? So now everything is same. Now I'm going to use the object now. So for the second instance, 2 dot, I'm going to set the mileage is equal to 30. I'll run this. Now I'll print this once again. Now tell me guys whether it will be affected or not. Only one will be affected, right? Sorry, it is not, both of them won't be affected. See here, I'll run this. Only in that instance it is changing. Can you guys see it? 20 BMW and 30 BMW, because we are using this object and this variable belong to that object. So if you change that, it will be changed only in that instance. So this is what known as instance variable. Clear? Is it clear guys? So these things belong to the self. So if it is belong to the self, then it will change according to the self only, and it won't affect another instance. Okay, so this is what the use of this, okay, and this is what the instance variable is. Similarly, there is something known as class variable. So say class variable is something like which don't belong to any of this self. See here, inside this function, before going into self or init, I am storing wheel equal to 4. So this thing will be common for every object you are creating. Okay, if you try to change one, okay, or if you try to change that, it will be common for both. Clear? I'll set, okay, here wheels is equal to 4. Okay, so now I'll try to print we are getting this 4, right? I'll change 1 dot wheels. Okay, the same things here. So now I'm going to set, okay, you have to set, we'll try to set it with 1 dot. Okay, so we are going to change the class variable. So call the name of the car dot wheels is equal to 8. So I'll set this now. Okay, it ran properly. So can we try to do this thing again? So I'll copy this, or I'll run it here itself. See here, it is changed to both, right? So since it doesn't belong to the object, it will be like changed for everyone. Okay, this is what known as class variable. So there are two things, one will be an instance variable and another one will be a class variable. So based on it you can give. So next will be types of method. Can you guys remember what is method? I told you, right? Method is something like a function inside a class. Okay, you can call it in the name of method. And regarding you guys are asking why we are using class, what is the use of the class, right? I forgot to tell you, and I told you I will tell you in the in between. See here, Python is an object-oriented programming language, and almost everything in Python is object with its properties and methods. We are using that. I'll tell you what it is. For example, in X I am storing a list. Okay. Now I want to find what is the type of X. I'll print type of X. Can you see what we got here? It is list, but what it is telling before that? Can you guys see that? What is this name? This is nothing but class, right? So we are using this class and object things from the start. Okay, but we don't know what it is. So what is this class list is, it is predefined class, which is like the creators of Python have created a class in the name list, and they have given many properties for you guys. So you are creating an object and calling this, you are creating a list, and for a list we are having many properties, right? Like you can append it or remove it, all those things are functions or methods inside the class list. So similarly, you are using list or tuple or integer or float, and those options are nothing but the like methods and attributes inside a class. Those are predefined, and if you want to create your own for your better productivity, we are creating this class and objects for us. Okay, so you can create a class, you can create an object, you can create a function. They have created some, we can use that, or additionally we can create our own also. Is it clear, guys? So we'll now go into, and another thing, if you are storing some variable inside a class, it is called as variable, or otherwise you can call it as attribute. Okay, so this is called as variable or attribute, and a function inside a class is called as method. Okay, now we will see about what are the different types of methods in class and object. Okay, can we start, guys? So regarding methods, we can see about instance method, class method, and static method. So there are three things. So what it is? Instance method, as I told you earlier, it belongs to self, right? So it is object belonging thing. This is what we are creating till now. See here, I am passing this self, right? So if you pass a self inside a function, so that function or that method is called as instance method. So we have used till now about that only. And moving into next one will be class method. So how to create a class method? See here. And remember another thing, you have to pass this self inside, right? If you didn't pass any self inside, then you will be getting error. I told you earlier also, this self is important. If you skip that, you will be getting error. If I remove this thing, I can create a class object. See here, it will give you error. So this self is important. Okay, and regarding this, how to create a class method? So you are having a class variable like this. For example, in the car we have created wheels, right? So in the student list, I am creating a school equal to some common name. So if I want to use that inside a function, I can create a function, and inside of self I can pass, instead of that I can pass this CLS. Okay, CLS is like for class, self is for that object, and CLS is for class, and using this CLS I can access this school. Okay, and you cannot directly create that, you will be getting error. If you want to create a class method, then you have to use this @. Okay, before that call this @ and call class method. So this is known as decorator in Python. We'll see much more about that later. So if you want to create a class method, see here, I'll store define, okay, info, and here instead of self I'm going to pass the CLS, okay, and below that I'll call this return CLS. Using CLS I'm going to access the wheels. Okay, so if I run this, I'll be getting error because I didn't use the decorator. Okay, so if I want to avoid error, I have to give @class method. See here, this is a decorator in Python. Using @ I can create this. Okay, I can call, I'll remove these things, I'll print. Okay, using car I can print the other thing. Wait a minute, car dot, so this one will be info, right? So I'll call this info. See here, I'm getting the output 4. Okay, you can use it in any statement here. So I'm setting it to 4, so I'm getting that output using this class method. And there is some other thing also which is known as static method. So what is the static method is? If you want to create a function which is independent of both the self and the class, okay, if you want to create a function or method which is independent of the class and the object, then you can go with the static method, where I'll be leaving it empty. But do you guys remember, if you leave it empty, we'll be getting error, right? So to avoid that, you have to declare it as a static method. And how can you do that? You can call this @. Okay, using @ instead of class method, you have to pass static method. So this will create it as a static method which is independent of both the things. Okay, it is independent of both the things, So we'll be getting an independent of both. Clear? Can we create this static method, guys? So I'll create a static method at static method, okay, and I'll create define static, okay, this is changing to detail, some random name. So I don't want to pass anything inside. I'll just return this is working without self or CLS. Okay, inside I'm not passing any self or class. Instead I'm asking it as a static method. I can run this. Okay, if I want to print this detail, I can go with this and call. Okay, I can print that. Clear, guys? This is what known as static method is. And next will be an important concept in class and object, which will be inheritance. So this will help you to, like, when you go into advanced Python, when you are creating some applications or any other things, this will be very important, since you will be importing something and passing it as an inheritance. So what is the inheritance is, I'll explain you. What does the term inheritance means? Do you guys know, right? So it is like getting it from the parent to the children. Okay, so you have parents having some wealth, they will be giving it to their children. That's what known as inheritance is, right? So that's what the similar thing we are going to do here. For example, I'll tell you, we are having a class in the name 1, okay, and inside of it I'm having certain functions, and below that I'm creating another class in the name 2, okay, and I'm having some functions inside. But if I want to have this functions inside this class 1 also inside this class 2, I can inherit it, which means I can, while creating the class, I can create a parenthesis and pass the name of another class. So what will happen is, when you create an object, see here I'm creating an object for this second class 2, but I can access this one also. How? Because we are inheriting it here. Can we try it? I'll show you so you can understand it properly. I'm creating a class in the name 1, okay, and I'll define first, I'll pass a self here, return, this is first, okay, and define second, I'll pass the self here, and I'll return, this is second. Clear? So once I done this, I'm going to create another class 2. And here I'm not going to directly inherit it. See guys, I'm creating third, I'll pass the self, I'll return, this is third, okay, and finally define fourth, I'll pass the self and return this is fourth. Clear? I'll create these two classes. So I'm creating an object for this class 2 alone. See here, obj equal to 2. I'm creating an object for it. So if I want to access something which is inside this class 2, I can do it now, right? So I'll print obj dot, and see here, it is suggesting me I can access this fourth and third, okay? So if I want to get this third, I can pass this third, okay? It is inside this class, so I can get that. So now I am going to do one thing which is known as inheritance. So if I want to inherit this class 1 inside class 2, here I can open parenthesis and pass this 1 here, the name of this class. I'll run it now. And see here, I am creating object for 2 only, not for 1. Okay, I am creating the object here, and with this I am going to try to access which is present inside the first one. See here, now I am getting first, second, third and fourth. This is also we can access. How? Because we are inheriting it here. Okay, so I'll call this object dot first, so which is inside this class, but we are creating an object for this one, but we are inheriting it. Since we are inheriting it, you can directly do it. Okay, clear guys? This is the thing about class and object. So if you are a little bit confused, please try to rewatch and practice. You can understand it little by little. Okay, this will be a little bit advanced concept. So make sure you are thorough in this one. And regarding the submission, I hope the link is available, and please make sure you update it there. Once you go into your post, see here in the Facebook, you can find it below the send option. Once you click that, this will show this page, and you can copy the link and paste it in that Google form. Or if you are using LinkedIn, you can go to your post, click this 3 dot and copy link to post, and you can paste it there and submit. Clear? And regarding NM code, it is optional. If you have that, you can update it there, or else you can leave it. Okay. And can we see about the assignment 1, guys? Can we see about the answer? So with that, we can complete today's session, right? Can we see, guys? Can I explain you about the assignment 1 with answer? So it's been given 3 days back, right? So today is day 8, but I have given day 5, and next I'll be giving it in day 10, which will be on Sunday. I'll be giving another assignment. So can we see about the answers? Okay, so regarding assignment 1, so this is what the question is. Roman numerals to integer. Roman numerals from user input should be converted into integer values as output. So that's what the rule is. So regarding the rules, if the larger number is written first, followed by a smaller number. Okay. When you go from left to right, if it is same or larger number followed by smaller number, then you can add those. Okay. Or else, if smaller number is written first followed by larger number, then you can subtract those. So that's what the rule of this. So if it is like I and V, I is 1 and V is 5. So if you subtract it, the output will be 4. Okay. So this is what the rule of this is. And we have to make this with the help of dictionary and loops. And these are the test cases to check whether you got correct answers or not. So now I got many code, many of you guys tried on your own, and I can find some similar code which you can available in internet or ChatGPT. So please make sure you are doing it on your own, trying on your own. Okay. So for those who can't try, okay, if you guys have any doubt, you can ask me, or I'll explain you now so you can clarify. There are many types you can solve this case. I'm going to choose one simple method. Okay. I'll show you. First, let me create an input option in the name Roman. Okay, this will be the user input. Input, enter Roman numeral. Okay, and he will be entering some value right here. So I'm going to use dot upper. So this dot upper, why I am doing? Even if he entered in small letter, I can turn it into capital letter, right? So we have seen about the string methods. Okay. So now I have to create a dictionary. Okay, I'll create it in the name D. So I'm going to create a dictionary for those I, V, X, L and those things, right? So if it is I, if it is capital I, then the value will be 1. Okay, based on the chart I'm creating. If it is 5, I can get 5. V for 5, and for X it is 10. And regarding other things, I'll check once again. X is 10, L is 50, C 100, okay. L is 50, comma, then C is 100, right? Next, D is 500, M is 1000. Am I correct, guys? Okay, we have created a dictionary. So user will be entering those things. So it will be in the connected format. So if you want to access it one by one, what you have to do? You have to create a for loop, right? So you want to go in the for loop. So before that, I'll set a variable where we'll be counting the total. I'll set this to 0 for now. So now I'll create a for loop for X in range. Using the range function, I'm passing the length of Roman. So Roman will be the user entered value. So if he entered 4 letters, okay, the length will be 4. Okay, so this range will start from 0, right, and end one step before, which means it will end one step before. If if he is entering 4 letters, then it is going to give me 3 here. It will give till 3 from 0. So total will be 0, 1, 2, 3. With the index, you can access everything. And here I am going to check whether if X plus 1 is less than the length of Roman. So why I am checking it? So here, since we are running it in a range, Okay, when you go for x plus 1, when it reaches the final one, okay, for example, if the total letters are 4, it is going to give till 3. So when you try to access with the index, when you go with x plus 1, if it is out of the range, it is going to show you error. To avoid that, I am creating x plus 1 and checking whether it is less than the length of Roman. And using AND operator, I am checking from the dictionary, I am getting the Roman numeral in this index x. Okay, so please try to understand this. This Roman will be the user entered value. Okay, and this x will be the range. It starts from 0. So in the Roman, the 0th index, which means the first letter the user entered. And for that, I am going to compare it here. If it is available, I am going to get it from the dictionary. You know how to access a dictionary, right? So if this is less than, okay, I am checking whether it is greater than or less than the same thing, x plus 1. So I am going to compare it with the next one. Okay. So if it is lesser than that, what I have to do? What does this mean? Which is when you go from left to right, if it is smaller number than larger number, then you have to subtract it, right? So which means this is a smaller number and this is a larger number. In this case, with total is equal to, so I can give it like minus is equal to, okay, d of the Roman in that index. So that value will be subtracted from the total. Else case, okay, in the else case, I am just going to add total plus is equal to d of Roman of x. So if it is like in the reverse order, which means greater than like the largest value then followed by smallest value, I am going to do this one. So once I done this, finally I will print answer, okay, and then I'll pass this total. Finally I need this total. Can we run it, guys? Can we run and check the all the cases? I'll check once again whether it is clear or not. Once it is fine, I'll run this. So we have done this and we are updating it here. I'll try to run this code. So it is asking for me to enter. First I'll enter III, which will be 3, I hope so. The answer is 3, we got it. Now I'm going to check with the use cases here. First one will be MCMXCIX. Okay, MCMX3CIX. MCMXCIX. The answer is 199, right? We got it. Can we check other things, guys? Next one will be DCCC. Okay. We got the output 800. Clear? So you can check with other things also. It will run fine. So that's it about the assignment, guys. Even if you guys till now haven't completed or submitted, you can try these use cases. Okay. So please try to update the link. Once you submit it, they'll accept you soon. So once you got accepted your post, you can copy that link and update in Google Forms. Clear? And regarding next class, we'll see some other concepts. We'll start. Okay. Tomorrow we'll be seeing about modules, packages, and library, which is very important. In last class we have seen about OS, right? So in tomorrow's class we'll be seeing the continuation, import, and all those options. So this will take us to some more advanced concepts. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you. We'll see you in tomorrow's session. Thank you, guys. Okay, I hope that Google Form link is available in YouTube description of this video. Can you guys check and update? Thank you guys. Thank you guys. We'll see you in tomorrow's session. Thank you.